In the deepest winter, where the world disappears beneath endless snow, an old monk lives alone in a mountain temple. He sweeps steps that will be covered again within the hour. He makes tea that will be drunk and forgotten. He sits in silence, watching snow fall, teaching himself the same lesson over and over. Let go. Let go of yesterday. Let go of tomorrow. Let go of the need to hold anything at all. This is his practice. This is his peace. And tonight, in the vast quiet of the frozen mountain, he will show you how to do the same, how to release what weighs you down, how to rest in the silence between breaths, how to finally let go. The winter temple of letting go. High in the mountains, where the world grows quiet and the air tastes of snow and stone, there stands a temple. It is not a large temple. It is not grand or decorated with gold or precious things. It is made of old wood, darkened by many winters, and its roof is heavy with snow that has fallen and never stopped falling. The temple sits alone. Around it, the mountains rise like ancient beings who have forgotten how to speak. They are covered in white. Everything is covered in white. The trees, bare and patient, hold snow on their branches. The paths that once led travelers here are buried now beneath layers of winter. The world has grown small and soft and silent. And in this temple there lives a monk. He is old. His face is lined like the bark of the trees outside, weathered by many seasons, many winters, many years of watching snow fall and melt and fall again. His hair is white, though once it might have been black. His robes are simple, made of thick cloth the color of earth and stone. His hands are rough but steady. He lives alone here, and he has lived alone for a long time. The monk does not count the days. He does not mark calendars or wonder when the snow will stop. He simply lives, quietly, in the rhythm of winter. And winter here is long. It stretches across months, slow and patient, like a great exhale that never quite ends. This morning, though morning is only a word for the pale light that comes when the darkness finally thins, the monk wakes slowly. He does not wake suddenly. He does not jolt or startle. He simply opens his eyes, and the world is there, waiting as it always is. The air inside the temple is cold. He can see his breath, faint and ghostly, curling upward in the dim light. The small room where he sleeps is bare. A wooden floor, a thin mat, a folded blanket, nothing more. He lies still for a moment, listening. Outside, the wind is moving through the trees. It is not a harsh wind, not violent or angry. It is steady, low, like a long breath moving across the mountain. And beneath that sound, there is another sound, softer, almost not a sound at all, the sound of snow falling. Snow makes no sound when it falls, not really. But if you are quiet enough, if you listen closely enough, you can hear it. A faint whisper, a soft settling, the world covering itself over and over in silence. The monk listens to this for a long time. Then slowly he sits up. His body is old, and it moves the way old bodies move, carefully, without rush. He folds the blanket. He rolls the thin mat. He places them both against the wall, neatly, so the floor is clear again. He stands. His feet touch the cold wooden floor, and the cold moves up through his legs, into his body. He does not flinch. He simply feels it. Cold is only cold. It is not good or bad. It simply is. He walks to the small window. The window is covered with frost, delicate patterns of ice that bloom like flowers frozen in time. He does not touch the frost. He simply looks through it, out into the whiteness beyond. Snow is falling. It has been falling all night. It will likely fall all day. The world outside is a blur of white and gray, soft and endless. The trees are only dark shapes. The ground is smooth, untouched, a blank surface that holds no memory of yesterday. The monk stands at the window for a long time, watching the snow fall. He does not think about anything in particular. He does not plan his day or worry about what must be done. He simply watches. The snow falls, and he watches it fall, and that is enough. Eventually, he turns from the window. There are things to do, small things, simple things. Not because they must be done, but because they are part of the day. They give shape to the hours. They keep the body moving, the mind steady. First, there is water to heat. The monk walks through the narrow hallway of the temple. His footsteps are soft on the wooden floor. The temple is very quiet. It holds sound the way snow holds footprints, gently, briefly, then lets it go. He enters the main hall. This is the heart of the temple, a single large room with a high ceiling. In the center, there is a small stone hearth where a fire can be made. Around the edges of the room, there are shelves, simple wooden shelves that hold bowls and cups and jars of rice and tea. There is a low table, a few cushions, not much else. At the far end of the room, there is a small altar. It is very plain. A single candle unlit, a small bowl empty, a piece of wood polished smooth by time and touch. The altar does not demand anything. It does not ask for prayers or offerings or devotion. It simply exists, a quiet center, a place to focus the mind when the mind needs focusing. The monk does not go to the altar now. Instead, he goes to the hearth. There is a small pile of wood beside it, pieces he brought in yesterday before the snow grew too deep. The wood is dry, aged, split carefully with an axe that is older than the monk himself. He selects a few pieces, arranges them in the hearth with care. There are coals still warm beneath the ash from last night's fire. He uncovers them gently, blows on them softly, his breath a quiet offering. The coals glow brighter, orange and red, like a small sun waking. He places thin kindling over the coals, waits, watches. The kindling catches. A small flame appears, fragile, trembling. The monk does not rush it. He lets the flame grow at its own pace, feeding it carefully, patiently. Soon, the fire is steady, crackling softly, filling the room with warmth and light. He fills a kettle with water from a ceramic jar. The water is cold, almost icy, drawn from the spring behind the temple the day before. He places the kettle on a metal grate over the fire and waits for it to heat. Waiting is not difficult for the monk. He has spent many years learning how to wait. He sits on a cushion near the fire, his hands resting in his lap, and he simply waits. The fire crackles. The wind moves outside. The snow continues to fall. He does not think about the water. He does not will it to boil faster. He simply sits, and the warmth of the fire spreads through the room, and eventually, the water begins to steam, then murmur, then sing its small boiling song. When the water is ready, he removes the kettle from the fire. The monk makes tea slowly. He takes a small clay pot from the shelf, plain and unglazed, worn smooth by use. He spoons tea leaves into the pot, dark, dried leaves that smell faintly of earth and distant fields. He pours the hot water over the leaves, and steam rises, curling upward into the cold air. He lets the tea steep. While he waits, he takes a cup from the shelf. It is a simple cup, made of rough ceramic, slightly uneven, shaped by hands that were not trying to make it perfect. It fits well in his palm. When the tea is ready, he pours it into the cup. The liquid is pale green, almost golden in the firelight. He holds the cup in both hands, feeling the warmth seep into his fingers, into his palms, up through his wrists. He brings the cup to his lips and sips slowly. The tea is bitter, then sweet, then something in between. It warms his mouth, his throat, his chest. He does not gulp it. He does not rush. Each sip is complete, its own small moment. He drinks the tea sitting by the fire, and the warmth of the tea and the warmth of the fire become one warmth, spreading through him, settling into his bones. Outside, the snow continues to fall. After the tea, there is sweeping. Every morning, the monk sweeps the steps of the temple. It is not because the steps need to be swept. Snow will cover them again within the hour. It is not to keep them clean. It is simply something he does, a small ritual, a way of meeting the day. He opens the heavy wooden door of the temple. Cold air rushes in, sharp and clean, smelling of pine and ice. The world outside is white and gray, the sky low and heavy with snow. The monk steps outside. He is wearing his robes, and over them, a thick outer robe made of padded cloth. On his feet, simple straw sandals wrapped with cloth. The cold touches his face immediately, but he does not hurry back inside. He stands for a moment, breathing the cold air, letting it fill his lungs, sharp and clarifying. The steps are covered in fresh snow, several inches deep, smooth and untouched. The monk picks up a broom, a simple broom made of bundled twigs tied to a wooden handle. He begins to sweep. He sweeps slowly with long, even strokes. The broom moves across the snow, pushing it aside, revealing the dark wood beneath. The snow falls away easily, soft and light, tumbles down the steps, piling at the bottom. The monk sweeps each step completely before moving to the next. He does not think while he sweeps. His mind is as empty as the space he is clearing. There is only the movement of the broom, the soft whisper of bristles against snow, the cold air on his face. When he reaches the bottom step, he stops. He looks at what he has done. The steps are clear now, dark wood visible against the white world. But even as he looks, snow is beginning to settle on them again. Tiny flakes landing softly, covering the wood once more. The monk does not mind. He knows the steps will be covered again. He knows he will sweep them tomorrow and the day after and the day after that. This does not trouble him. The sweeping is not about the steps. It is about the sweeping itself. He carries the broom back inside and closes the door. Inside, the temple is warm now. The fire has grown steady, and the cold that rushed in with the open door is already fading. The monk returns to the main hall. He adds more wood to the fire, then sits on a cushion facing the hearth. He folds his legs beneath him, rests his hands on his knees, and straightens his back. He sits. This is what he does for much of the day. He simply sits. There is no goal to the sitting. He is not trying to achieve anything, not trying to reach some state of enlightenment or transcendence. He is simply sitting, being present, letting the moments pass through him like snow falling through air. His eyes are half closed, his gaze soft and unfocused, resting on the fire. His breath is slow, in and out, in and out, each breath visible in the cold air. A small cloud that appears and dissolves, appears and dissolves. He does not count his breaths. He does not control them. He simply notices them the way he notices the snow, the way he notices the fire, the way he notices the silence. Thoughts come. This is natural. Thoughts always come. They drift into the mind like snowflakes drifting through air. The monk does not try to stop them. He does not fight them or push them away. He simply notices them and lets them go. A thought about the wood supply, noticed, released. A memory of a face, someone from long ago, noticed, released. A wondering about the weather tomorrow, noticed, released. Each thought is like a footprint in snow. It appears clear and distinct, and then the snow falls and covers it, and it is gone. The monk sits for a long time. The fire crackles. The wind moves outside. The snow falls and falls and falls. There is nothing to solve. There is nothing to fix. There is only this sitting, breathing being. The morning passes slowly. Time in the temple does not move the way it moves in the world below. Down in the valleys, in the towns and cities, time is measured and counted, divided into hours and minutes, filled with urgency and noise. But here, time is different. It stretches and deepens. It becomes something you can rest inside of, like sinking into deep water. The monk rises from sitting eventually, not because he has finished, but simply because the body needs to move. He walks through the temple slowly, his footsteps soft on the wooden floor. He moves from room to room, though there are not many rooms. A small kitchen, a storage room, the hall where he sleeps. Each room is cold, austere, empty of decoration or comfort. He does not need much. Over the years, he has learned that most of what people think they need, they do not need. The mind creates needs, invents desires, conjures worries. But when you live simply, when you strip away the unnecessary, you discover that very little is actually required. Food, water, warmth, shelter, these things are enough. And even these, the monk thinks, are temporary. One day he will not need them either. One day he will let go of even these. But that day is not today. Today there is rice to cook. He returns to the kitchen, a small room with a low table and a few shelves. There is a clay pot for cooking rice, a cutting board worn smooth by use, a single knife with a wooden handle. He takes rice from a jar, measures it carefully into the pot. The grains are small and white, each one perfect, each one complete. He washes the rice in cold water, swirling it gently, letting the cloudy water drain away. He does this 3 times until the water runs clear. He adds fresh water to the pot, places it over the fire. While the rice cooks, he prepares vegetables. There are not many, a few dried mushrooms, some pickled greens, a small piece of radish. He slices them slowly, carefully, the knife moving with practiced ease. He is not thinking about the meal. He is not planning or anticipating. He is simply cutting vegetables, and the cutting is complete in itself, whole and sufficient. When the rice is done, soft and steaming, he serves it into a bowl. He adds the vegetables, a small amount of fermented paste for flavor. He takes the bowl to the low table, kneels, and eats. He eats slowly, mindfully. Each bite is tasted fully, chewed completely, swallowed with awareness. The rice is warm and nourishing. The vegetables are crisp and slightly sour. The meal is simple, but it is enough. When he finishes, he cleans the bowl, washes it carefully in cold water, sets it aside to dry. Then he returns to the main hall and sits again. The afternoon is much like the morning. The monk sits, the fire burns, the snow falls. Outside, the world is featureless, a blur of white. The sky and the ground are almost indistinguishable, both the same pale gray. The trees are dark smudges in the whiteness. There are no sounds except the wind and the soft settling of snow. Inside, the temple is a small island of warmth and stillness. The monk does not feel lonely. Loneliness is what happens when you want something you do not have: company, conversation, connection. But the monk does not want these things. He is content in the silence. He is complete in the solitude. He has learned that being alone and being lonely are not the same thing. Being alone is simply a fact, a condition, like being cold or being warm. It is neutral. But loneliness is a story the mind tells about being alone. A story that says something is missing, something is wrong. The monk does not tell himself this story. He sits in the silence, and the silence is full. It is not empty. It is rich and deep, like the darkness of a well, like the space inside a bell before it is struck. He listens to the silence. He breathes the silence. He becomes the silence. As the afternoon deepens, the light begins to change. It is subtle at first. The pale gray of the sky grows darker, softer. The whiteness of the snow takes on a bluish tint, like ice reflecting twilight. The monk rises and adds more wood to the fire. He lights a candle and places it on the altar. The small flame flickers, steady and golden, a point of light in the growing darkness. He makes more tea. This time, he takes the tea to the window and stands there, holding the warm cup, looking out at the snow. The world is disappearing into dusk. The shapes of the trees are fading. The mountains are dissolving into darkness. Soon, there will be nothing visible except the snow itself, faintly luminous, glowing in the night. The monk watches this transformation. He watches the day let go of itself, release its light, surrender to the dark. There is no struggle in it. The day does not cling to brightness. It simply fades naturally, inevitably, and the night comes, and that is as it should be. This, the monk thinks, is what it means to let go. Not with force, not with effort, but simply by allowing what is to be what it is. By not grasping, by not resisting. The day lets go of itself every evening, and every evening the night comes. The snow lets go of the sky, and it falls. The breath lets go of the body, and it becomes air again. Everything is always letting go. We are the only ones who try to hold on. Night falls completely. The monk lights another candle, then another. Their flames are small and fragile, but they fill the temple with a soft, warm light. Shadows gather in the corners of the room, deep and quiet. He prepares a simple evening meal, more rice, some broth made from dried seaweed and mushrooms. He eats slowly, gratefully, by candlelight. After eating, he sits by the fire again. The fire has burned down to coals now, glowing red and orange, pulsing gently like a slow heartbeat. The monk does not add more wood. He simply watches the coals, the way they brighten when the wind blows, the way they dim and darken, then brighten again. He thinks about all the things people carry with them. Worries about the future, regrets about the past, anger, fear, desire, sadness. All of these are heavy. They weigh on the mind, burden the heart. People carry them for years, decades, entire lifetimes. They grow used to the weight, forget that they are carrying anything at all. The burden becomes normal, invisible, but it is still there, always there, pressing down. The monk used to carry these things too. When he was younger, when he first came to this mountain, he carried so much. He carried memories of people he had lost. He carried mistakes he had made. He carried plans and ambitions, dreams and disappointments. He carried them up the mountain into the temple, and he set them down, expecting to pick them up again later. But slowly, over the years, he learned to leave them down. Not all at once. Not dramatically. Just slowly, quietly, one by one. He learned that thoughts are not facts, that feelings are not permanent, that the past is gone, truly gone, and cannot be changed, that the future has not happened, may never happen, and cannot be controlled. He learned that the only thing real is this moment, right now, and this moment does not ask anything of him except that he be present for it. And so he let go, not because it was easy, not because he was wise, but because carrying things was exhausting, and putting them down was a relief. The night deepens. Outside, the wind has quieted. The snow is falling more softly now, smaller flakes, almost like mist. The world is utterly still. Inside, the monk sits by the fading coals, wrapped in his thick robe, his eyes half closed. He thinks about snow. Snow is water that has let go of being water. It has released its liquid form, allowed itself to become something else, crystalline, fragile, light. It floats instead of flowing. It drifts instead of rushing. It settles softly instead of crashing. And when the snow lands, it does not cling to its form. It does not resist melting. When the warmth comes, it lets go again, becomes water once more, or vapor rising into the air. Snow teaches us this. Nothing holds its shape forever. We are like snow. We take a form, this body, this name, this life. But the form is temporary. One day we will let go of it, return to whatever we were before we became this particular arrangement of flesh and memory. And that is not sad. That is not frightening. It is simply true. The snow does not grieve when it melts. It does not mourn its crystalline shape. It simply changes, flows, becomes. We can learn from this. We can practice letting go while we are still here, still in this form. We can release our grip on things that were never ours to hold. We can open our hands and let the wind take what it will. This does not mean we love less. It does not mean we care less. It means we love and care without grasping, without demand, without the illusion of control. The monk sits in the darkness, and the darkness is gentle. He feels the cold air on his face. He feels the warmth of the dying fire on his shins. He feels his breath moving in and out of his body, slow and steady, like a tide. He is very still. There is nothing to do now, nowhere to go, nothing to achieve or accomplish or fix. There is only this, sitting in the dark, breathing the cold air, feeling the weight of the body, the pull of gravity, the quiet hum of being alive. It is enough. It has always been enough. We make things complicated. We add layers of meaning and story and significance. We turn simple moments into problems to solve, questions to answer, goals to achieve. But beneath all of that, there is just this, the simple fact of existence. The breath, the body, the moment, and it is enough. The monk understands this now, though it has taken many years. He understands that peace is not something you find by adding things to your life. It is something you discover by removing things, by letting go, by simplifying. Peace is what remains when you stop struggling. Joy is what remains when you stop grasping. Freedom is what remains when you stop trying to control. The coals in the hearth have dimmed to almost nothing now. Just a faint glow, barely visible, like stars seen through thick clouds. The monk does not stir the coals. He does not add wood. He simply lets the fire die in its own time, the way fires do, the way all things do. He rises slowly, his old knees creaking, his body stiff from sitting. He walks to the altar and extinguishes the candles with a gentle breath. Darkness fills the room, complete and soft. He makes his way to the small room where he sleeps. He does not need light. He knows the temple completely, every corner, every board in the floor. He could walk through it blind and never stumble. He unrolls his mat, spreads his blanket. He lies down, and the cold floor is hard beneath him, but he does not mind. The body will rest regardless. He closes his eyes. Outside, the snow is still falling. It has been falling all day. It will fall all night. It will fall tomorrow and the day after and the day after that. The monk listens to the sound of the wind, soft and low, moving through the trees. He listens to the silence beneath the wind, the vast, deep silence of the mountain, of the night of winter. His breath slows. His body softens. He does not think about sleep. He does not try to sleep. He simply rests, and sleep comes when it comes, the way snow comes, the way darkness comes, naturally and without effort. He thinks just before sleep takes him, tomorrow I will wake. I will heat water. I will make tea. I will sweep the steps, and the snow will cover them again. And that is as it should be. The night stretches long. Hours pass, though the monk does not count them. In the deep stillness of the mountain, time becomes something else. Not a line to be followed, but a space to inhabit. The temple is dark and cold. The fire is out. The candles are extinguished. Outside, snow continues to layer itself upon the world, inch by inch, in no hurry, with no destination. In his small room, the monk sleeps, but lightly, the way old people sleep, half in the world and half out of it. He dreams, but his dreams are simple. Path through snow, a tree heavy with white, a distant bell, ringing once, then silent. He wakes or half wakes several times during the night. Each time he lies still, listening. The wind, the silence, his own breath. Then he drifts again, back into sleep, like a leaf settling onto water. There is no struggle in his sleep, no tension in his body. He is at ease, completely at ease, the way only those who have truly let go can be. Toward morning, though it is still dark, the monk wakes. He does not open his eyes immediately. He simply lies there, feeling the cold air on his face, the weight of the blanket, the hardness of the floor beneath him. He listens. The wind has stopped. The world outside is utterly silent. Even the snow has stopped falling, at least for now. There is only stillness, vast and complete, as if the entire mountain is holding its breath. The monk opens his eyes. Darkness, but not complete darkness. There is a faint grayness at the window, the first hint of dawn, barely perceptible, like a memory of light. He rises slowly, folds the blanket, rolls the mat, places them against the wall. He walks to the main hall. It is freezing now, colder than yesterday. His breath clouds thickly in front of him. He can feel the cold seeping through his robes, settling into his bones. He kneels by the hearth. The coals are dead, completely cold. He clears them away, brushes ash from the stones. He lays fresh kindling, arranges wood, strikes a spark with flint and steel. The spark catches. A flame appears, small and fragile but growing. He feeds the flame patiently, tenderly, as if it is a living thing that needs care. And in a way it is. Fire is alive. It breathes, consumes, transforms. Soon, the fire is steady, crackling softly, and warmth begins to spread through the room once more. The monk fills the kettle, places it over the fire, waits. He sits, cross-legged, watching the flames. He thinks about beginnings. Every day is a beginning. Every breath is a beginning. Every moment is new, fresh, never before experienced. We forget this. We think of days as repetitions, as the same thing happening over and over. We say, another day, the same routine. Nothing changes. But this is not true. Every day is completely new. The snow that fell yesterday is not the snow falling today. The breath you took a moment ago is not the breath you are taking now. The fire burning in the hearth is not the fire that burned yesterday. It is a new fire, fed by new wood, consuming new air. Nothing repeats. Nothing is the same. We are the ones who impose sameness. We do it with our minds, with our thoughts, with our habit of labeling and categorizing. We say, "This is just like before." And in saying it, we stop seeing what is actually here. But if we look closely, if we pay attention, we see that everything is always new. Every morning, the monk wakes as if for the first time. Every morning, he makes tea as if he has never made tea before. Every morning, he sweeps the steps as if they have never been swept. This is how he stays awake. This is how he remains present. Not by doing new things, but by seeing the newness in everything. The water boils. The monk makes tea. He pours the water over the leaves, watches the steam rise, waits for the steeping to complete. He pours the tea into his cup, holds it in both hands, feels the warmth. He sips slowly. The tea is slightly different today. Not worse, not better, just different. Perhaps the water was hotter. Perhaps he let it steep a moment longer. Perhaps his body is different, his senses slightly altered by the cold or by sleep. Everything changes. Always. He finishes the tea, sets the cup aside. Then he puts on his thick outer robe, wraps his sandals, and opens the door. The world has transformed overnight. The snow is deep now, much deeper than yesterday. It reaches halfway up the steps, smooth and untouched, glowing faintly in the pre-dawn light. The trees are laden with it, their branches bending low. The sky is clear for the first time in days, a deep, dark blue fading to gray at the horizon. Stars are still visible, faint and cold. The monk stands in the doorway, breathing the frigid air, looking out at the whiteness. Everything is covered. Everything is new. The paths he walked yesterday are gone. The steps he swept are buried. The world has been erased and rewritten in snow. He picks up the broom. He begins to sweep. The snow is heavy today, thick and wet. It clings to the broom, clumps and falls. He has to sweep each step several times to clear it completely. He does not mind. He sweeps patiently, thoroughly, without hurry. He is not trying to finish. He is simply sweeping. Each stroke of the broom is complete in itself. Each step is enough. He does not think ahead to the next step or the step after that. He is fully present for this step, this stroke, this moment. And when he finishes one step, he moves to the next and gives it the same attention, the same care. This is how he lives his entire life. Not by planning or projecting or worrying about what comes next, but by being fully present for what is happening now. When he is sweeping, he is only sweeping. When he is making tea, he is only making tea. When he is sitting, he is only sitting. He does not divide his attention. He does not split his mind between past and future. He is here, completely here, and because of this, he is at peace. When the steps are clear, he stands at the bottom, looking up at the temple. It is beautiful in the dawn light, simple and austere, dark wood against white snow against pale sky. He thinks, this temple will not stand forever. One day the wood will rot, the roof will collapse, the walls will fall. Snow and wind and time will take it apart, piece by piece, until there is nothing left but a few stones, a few beams, scattered and reclaimed by the forest. This does not sadden him. Everything ends. Everything dissolves. This is not a tragedy. It is simply the nature of things. To try to make things last forever is to misunderstand what they are. Things are not meant to last forever. They are meant to exist beautifully, fully, for as long as they exist, and then to let go. The temple exists now. It shelters him now. It is enough. One day it will not exist, and that will be enough too. He goes back inside. The fire is burning well now, and the main hall is warm. He removes his outer robe, hangs it on a wooden peg. He sits by the fire and warms his hands. His fingers are stiff from the cold, slightly numb. He flexes them gently, opening and closing his hands, feeling sensation return slowly. He thinks about his body, this old body that has carried him through so many years. It is wearing out, he knows. His knees ache. His back is stiff in the mornings. His eyesight has dimmed. His hearing is not what it was. One day, this body will stop working. It will lie down and not rise. It will let go of breath and not take another. And he will let it go. He has no fear of this. Death is not an enemy. It is not a failure. It is simply the final letting go, the ultimate release. We spend our lives practicing for this moment. Every time we let go of a thought, a worry, a desire, we are practicing. Every time we release our grip on something we cannot control, we are practicing. And if we practice well, if we learn to let go of small things, then when the time comes to let go of everything, this body, this name, this life, we will know how. We will not cling. We will not resist. We will simply open our hands and release. The morning unfolds slowly. The monk tends the fire. He eats a small breakfast, leftover rice, a piece of dried fruit. He drinks water cold and clear from the spring. Then he sits. Hours pass. The light outside grows brighter. The sun has risen somewhere beyond the mountains, though it is not visible here, hidden behind peaks and clouds. But its light spreads across the snow, turning it brilliant white, almost painful to look at. The monk sits with his eyes half closed, his mind quiet. Thoughts come and go, like clouds drifting across the sky. He does not follow them. He does not engage with them. He simply watches them pass. A thought about firewood, pass. A memory of a student who once lived here, pass. A sensation of hunger, pass. A sound outside, perhaps a branch breaking under snow, pass. Everything passes. This is the nature of experience. Nothing stays. Nothing can stay. And in the space between thoughts, there is silence. In the space between breaths, there is stillness. In the space between moments, there is peace. Midday comes and goes. The monk makes more tea. He sips it slowly, warming his hands on the cup. He thinks about teaching. He used to teach long ago. Students would come to the temple, seeking wisdom, seeking peace, seeking something they could not name. He would teach them what he knew, how to sit, how to breathe, how to let go. But he could not give them peace. He could only point the way. They had to walk the path themselves. Some understood. Some did not. Some stayed for years. Some left after a few days. He did not judge them. He did not measure his success by how many students stayed or how much they learned. He simply taught and let the teaching go. Now he has no students. The path to the temple is buried in snow, and no one comes anymore. He is alone. But the teaching continues. He teaches himself over and over the same lessons. Let go. Be present. Accept what is. Release what is not. These lessons do not end. They are not learned once and finished. They must be practiced daily, hourly, moment by moment. Even now, even after so many years, he finds himself grasping, holding, resisting. Old habits, deep patterns. But he notices, and he lets go. Again and again. This is the practice. Not perfection. Not mastery. Just noticing and letting go. The afternoon is quiet. The monk walks through the temple, checking supplies. There is enough rice for many weeks. Enough dried vegetables. Enough tea. Firewood will last through the winter if he is careful. He is always careful. Not because he is afraid of running out, but because wastefulness is a form of disrespect. To waste food, to waste wood, to waste anything, is to disregard the effort and energy that brought it into being. Everything is precious, not because it is rare or valuable, but because it is here, now, part of this moment. A handful of rice, cup of water, a piece of wood burning in the hearth. All of it is a gift, and gifts should be received with care. As evening approaches, the monk prepares another simple meal. Rice, vegetables, broth. He eats slowly, attentively, tasting each bite, chewing thoroughly. When he finishes, he cleans the bowl, washes his hands, and returns to the main hall. The fire has burned down again. He does not rebuild it immediately. Instead, he sits in the dimming light, watching shadows gather in the corners of the room. He thinks about darkness. People fear darkness. They fill their lives with light, lamps, screens, distractions. They avoid silence, avoid stillness, avoid being alone with themselves in the dark. But darkness is not frightening. It is only the absence of light. And in that absence, other things become visible. In darkness, you can see stars. In darkness, you can hear your own breath. In darkness, you can feel the boundaries of your body dissolve, the sense of separation fade. Darkness teaches us that we are not separate. We are part of something much larger, something vast and unknowable. In the light, we see edges, divisions, distinctions. We see myself and not myself, inside and outside, here and there. But in darkness, these divisions soften. Everything blends. Everything becomes one continuous mystery. The monk is not afraid of this mystery. He has learned to rest in it, to trust it. He sits in the gathering dark, and he is at ease. Full night comes. The monk lights a single candle. Its flame is small and steady, casting a warm glow that barely reaches the walls of the room. He does not need more light. The candle is enough. He sits by the candle, watching the flame. It flickers slightly, responding to currents of air too subtle to feel. It burns the wick, consumes the wax, transforms matter into light and heat. The flame is alive. It exists only in this moment. If you snuff it out, it is gone completely. You cannot save it or store it or bring it back. You can light a new flame, but it will be a different flame. Nothing returns. Everything is new. The monk watches the flame for a long time. Then he extinguishes it with a gentle breath, and the room falls into darkness. He sits in the darkness, listening to the silence. Outside, it has begun to snow again. He can hear it, faintly, a soft whisper against the wooden walls of the temple. He smiles. The snow is falling. The world is being covered, erased, renewed. Tomorrow he will wake. He will sweep the steps. He will make tea. He will sit. And the snow will fall. And everything will be as it should be. The monk rises slowly. He walks to his sleeping room, moving carefully through the darkness. He unrolls his mat, spreads his blanket, lies down. The cold floor is hard beneath him, but he does not resist it. He simply feels it, the solidity of it, the realness of it. He closes his eyes. His body is heavy, sinking into the mat, into the floor, into the earth beneath the temple. His breath slows, in and out, in and out. He does not think about tomorrow. He does not replay today. He simply rests in this moment, this breath, this darkness. There is nothing to hold, nothing to carry, nothing to fix or solve or understand. There is only this, lying in the dark, breathing slowly, feeling the weight of the body, the pull of sleep. And he lets go, not dramatically, not with effort. He simply releases his grip on wakefulness, on thought, on the need to be conscious. He lets sleep take him the way snow takes the mountain, softly, inevitably, completely. And the night deepens, and the snow falls, and the temple stands, quiet and alone. A small point of stillness in the vast whiteness of the mountain. Inside, the monk sleeps. Outside, the world is erased and rewritten, over and over, in endless white. And there is no sound, no movement, only the soft settling of snow, only the deep silence of winter, only peace. Time passes, though there is no way to measure it. Hours, days, weeks. The snow falls. The monk wakes. He sweeps. He makes tea. He sits. He sleeps. The rhythm repeats, but it is never the same. Each day is new. Each breath is new. Each moment is a beginning. And slowly, so slowly, something in him continues to let go. Old patterns, old stories, old ways of seeing. He does not force this. He does not try to change. He simply sits, and the sitting does its work. Like water wearing away stone, like snow covering footprints, like fire consuming wood. The practice works on him, and he becomes lighter, more open, more transparent. He is learning to disappear, not to vanish from the world, but to stop being in the way. To stop insisting on his own perspective, his own desires, his own sense of how things should be. To simply allow what is to be what it is. This is the deepest letting go. Not letting go of things, but letting go of the one who holds things. Not releasing thoughts, but releasing the thinker. Not emptying the mind, but emptying the sense of self that fills the mind. This is what he is practicing, though he does not name it. He simply sits, and sweeps, and makes tea, and slowly the boundaries soften. The distinction between inside and outside fades. The temple and the mountain and the snow and the monk all become part of one continuous flow. He is the snow falling. He is the fire burning. He is the silence between breaths. One evening, as the light fades and the stars begin to appear in the clear, cold sky, the monk sits by the hearth. The fire has burned down to coals again, glowing softly in the darkness. He looks at the coals and he thinks, "This is what I am becoming." Not the bright flame, full of heat and noise, but the quiet coals, glowing softly, holding warmth without fanfare. Soon even the coals will go out, and that is as it should be. He is not afraid. He has let go of so much already. What remains is so light, so insubstantial, that it will take almost nothing for it to disappear completely. One more breath released, one more thought let go, one more moment of resting in what is, and then perhaps nothing, or perhaps something so vast and open that it cannot be named. He does not know, and he does not need to know. It is enough to sit here, by the dying fire, in the cold temple on the silent mountain. It is enough to feel the breath moving in and out. It is enough to be here, now, completely present, completely at peace. The monk closes his eyes. Outside, the snow continues to fall. Inside, the coals continue to glow. And between the two, between the falling and the glowing, between the cold and the warmth, between the outside and the inside, there is the monk sitting, breathing, being. And he is enough. He has always been enough. And one day, when he lets go of even this, of breath, of body, of being, that will be enough too. But not yet. Not tonight. Tonight, there is still snow falling. Still fire glowing. Still breath moving. And so he sits. And the night deepens. And the silence grows. And there is peace. Deep, wordless, boundless peace. The snow falls. The monk sits. The fire glows. The snow falls. The monk breathes. The stars shine. The snow falls. The world is silent. The temple stands. The snow falls, and falls, and falls, and everything is covered. Everything is new. Everything is as it should be. And there is nothing more to say, nothing more to do, nothing more to seek or solve or understand. There is only this, only now, only peace. The snow continues to fall. The temple continues to stand. And somewhere in the darkness, the monk continues to sit, breathing softly, letting go, becoming lighter, becoming more transparent, becoming one with the silence, with the snow, with the vast, open mystery of being. And it is enough. It has always been enough. It will always be enough. Silence, the end, which is not an end, but a fading, a dissolving, like snow melting into water, like water evaporating into air, like air dissolving into space. Rest now. There is nothing to hold, nothing to carry, only this breath, only this moment, only peace.